What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?
The box.
Take it. It's yours. It always was.
What is going on, horror fans? Zomboy here, and you're watching another episode of Twisted Terrors. On this episode, we're going to be talking about 1987's Hellraiser. This movie was directed by Clive Barker. It's rated R. IMDb has this one rated as a 6.9 out of 10. Letterboxd has this one rated 3.5 out of 5. I'll read the plot. Hedonist Frank Cotton finds a mysterious puzzle box that summons the Cenobites, who open the doors to a dominion where pain and pleasure are indivisible. And the tagline to this movie is, "Demon to some, angels to others." This movie stars Andrew Robinson as Larry, Claire Higgins as Julia, Ashley Lawrence as Christy, and the Doug Bradley as Pinhead. The Cenobites in this movie are awesome. They consist of left to right Butterball, Pinhead, female Cenobite, and Chatterer. But let's talk about that. Why does female Cenobite not have a name? that's what she's casted as. So I figured, let's make her a name. I was thinking Suture. I think that's a cool, dark name. It evokes surgical stitching, resilient, quiet suffering, minimalist, and haunting. She's pretty cool too, but yeah, she doesn't have a name. But there you go. I'm gonna call her Suture from now on because I think it's a rad name. So let's talk about the movie. Movie starts off with a man with the filthiest nails I have ever seen purchasing a golden box from a man that has the second dirtiest fingers I have ever seen. It cuts the man, he's sitting in a room with some candles, he's fiddling with this box, and he opens it. And you figure out pretty early on it's a puzzle box. When he opens the puzzle box, it summons the Cenobites that come to get him. And they end up all these chains with hooks wrap into his flesh, and they tear him apart. And it shows the room, and there's just meat and body parts all over the place. And then it shows the head Cenobite, Pinhead. He grabs the puzzle box. He ends up resetting the puzzle box, which closes the gates. All the Cenobites disappear, including all the chains and the body parts. And it cuts to you meet Larry and Julia. They are married, and they have traveled to Larry's mom's old house that's been sitting for 10 years. He told her he was gonna sell it, but his brother Frank didn't want to split the proceeds, so it's just been sitting, and he decided to move into it. Right away you can tell this marriage is odd. It really seems like Julia doesn't like her husband at all. She just always looks absolutely disgusted when he's around. They find out that Frank has been staying in the house, which is trashed, and there's a bed on the floor with a bunch of Frank's stuff, but he's missing. And when the phone rings, Larry runs off to answer the phone, and Julia's going through Frank's stuff, and she finds a box that has a bunch of pictures of all the women that he's been with. And she removes a picture of her and Frank. So you find out she slept with Larry's brother Frank. She gets rid of the picture so he doesn't find out. Larry's moving furniture into the house. He hires some moving people. He's helping take a mattress upstairs. He ends up cutting his hand pretty bad on a nail sticking out of the banister. He goes into the room, which is the room that Frank disappeared in, and he's bleeding all over the place.
It's going to need stitches.
I'm going to throw up.
You're not going to throw up. Just take it easy. Just take it easy.
They agree to take him to the hospital. So they leave, and then it shows the blood being sucked into the floorboards and reanimating a beating heart under the floor, which slowly starts piecing back together pieces of meat until 2 arms, and a really cool scene of a skeleton with some meat and all this ooey gooey goodness bursting through the floor. And it is Frank reanimated. He's not looking so hot. He's missing about 90% of what he's supposed to have. Julie ends up hearing a noise. She goes up to investigate and goes into the room where Frank is, and Frank grabs her and basically tells her, "It's me, it's Frank. You need to help me." And tells her that the blood brought him back, so more blood should make him whole again. Tells her, "You need to help me." And Julia starts just fantasizing about being with Frank again, and wakes up in the middle of the night, goes in there and tells him, "I'll do it."
You'll do it.
Yes. I will.
And so she starts flirting with men out and about, bringing them home, and smashing them with a hammer, basically, and feeding them to Frank. And then Frank sucks all the blood out of him, making himself a little bit more whole every time. And then she's got to dispose of the bodies in the room across the hallway. Julia tells Frank, "You told me you were going to tell me what happened." And so Frank shows her the puzzle box. He tells her it's a doorway to another dimension, and the Cenobites are gonna come for him, so he needs to hurry up, get more blood, because as soon as they find out he escaped their grasp, so they're gonna be coming for him. Julia's super obsessed with Frank and making him whole again, to the point where she won't even barely talk to her husband. She won't touch her husband, and he knows something's going on. So at one point he goes to dinner with his daughter Christy, which is Julia's stepdaughter, and he asks her to go talk to her because there's something going on. Maybe she'll tell Christy.
I got a real problem here, kiddo. She doesn't even want to leave the house.
Really?
It's like she's waiting for something.
So Christy goes to the house, and when she gets there, she sees him luring a man into the house. And not too much time after that, she hears screaming from upstairs from a man. So of course she goes in there, goes upstairs, and finds old Frank, who grabs her and tells her how pretty she is.
You've grown. You're beautiful.
Don't touch me.
And how she's getting older, and tries to kiss her, and she ends up kicking him in the huevos. She grabs the puzzle box, and Frank's telling her to put the box down. Don't touch the box.
Give me that.
No.
Give it to me. Give me the box!
You want it? Have it.
Throwing the box out the window. She takes off down the stairs, out the front of the house, grabs the box, and runs off. And she's in shock. She ends up passing out, and some people find her and take her to a hospital. In the hospital, she's laying in the hospital room, and they lock her in because they think there's something wrong with her. And she ends up playing with the puzzle box. She opens the puzzle box, and of course, it opens a gateway. She enters the gateway, and it's all these long, dark, misty hallways, and she ends up running into this huge beast. That starts chasing her through the hallways back into the hospital room. She ends up playing with the puzzle box again, which seals the door but brings the Cenobites, and they tell her that they're going to show her pain and pleasure that she could hardly ever imagine. And then she tries to make a deal with them and says,
Oh man, call Frank Cotton.
Oh, yes.
He escaped you.
Nobody escapes us.
He did! I've seen him!
Impossible.
He's alive!
Supposing he had escaped us, what has that to do with you?
I can lead you to him, and you can take him back instead of me.
Perhaps we prefer you. I want to hear him confess himself. Then, maybe. But if you cheat us, we'll tear your soul apart.
At this point, Frank is almost whole. He's just basically meat and slime. And he says he needs skin now to make himself whole. And he ends up talking Julia into luring Larry upstairs so he can have his skin. And that's what they do. They end up luring poor Larry upstairs. And then it shows Larry, but he's acting really weird. He's got some blood on his face, and you can tell right away Frank is now in Larry's skin. Chrissy ends up showing up, trying to tell her dad what Julia was doing, and he says, oh, I already know. She told me everything, and I had to kill Frank, and he's dead now, so everything's okay.
Your brother Frank is upstairs. He's upstairs and he's trying to kill you. He's gonna kill you.
No, wait. Whatever Frank did was unspeakable. It's unspeakable. But believe me, it's finished with now.
And so she goes in there and sees the ball of meat laying on the floor. She realizes her dad's acting super weird. And then finally, he says something that Frank always says. And she knew right away that it wasn't her dad. And so Frank pulls a knife out and he goes to stab Chrissy with it. Instantly stabs Julia and just says, no hard feelings. Tell how much he liked her. They go running up the stairs and they go into the room and he's talking to her about how he got brought back to life. And then the Cenobites show up. He realizes that Chrissy set him up in a trap. Chains with hooks start flying and grabbing him all over, and they end up tearing his new skin off. And right before they tear his skin off, he says,
Jesus wept.
Jesus wept. The Cenobites end up turning towards Christy and telling her they are still going to take her. She ends up resetting the puzzle, which closing the door, and the Cenobites disappear one by one as she's trying to escape the house, which is now falling down. She's trying to get out. She jumps out the front. The house is on fire. She ends up taking the puzzle, throwing it into the fire. And then this homeless man who's been in the entire movie walks up, reaches into the fire, grabbing the puzzle, and then he's on fire. And as he's burning, he turns into a giant bone demon pterodactyl and flies away. And then the last scene in this movie is the puzzle being sold again. That's the end of the movie. This movie is funny because for a long time I thought I didn't like this movie. And then I rewatched it and realized I actually did like this movie. You know, the weird thing is when you think Hellraiser, you think Pinhead, you think Cenobite. He wasn't supposed to be the star of this movie at all. He just kind of took over. He's only in the movie for 6 minutes. I mean, he doesn't have much screen time, but the costume is amazing. The Cenobites are just cool. I love how twisted they are. And as this series progresses, they get cooler and cooler. You get some really neat ones. You know, Pinhead wasn't even on the first poster for this movie because it wasn't supposed to be about him, but he really took over. And I love the Cenobites. So Doug Bradley, such a good actor. And Clive Barker, you know, he used to do a lot of stage performances, and Doug Bradley had done some of his stage shows with him. And so that's where he came from. The puzzle box is really neat. I love the gold accents and how shiny it is. You know, this movie is just dark and dingy, and I like that. The way it was filmed, it's just got this weird darkness to it. and it works very well for it. You know, a lot of it's shot with like candlelight, low light. The music's awesome. Definitely some pacing issues here and there. It's amazing how you can think you don't like a movie and then watch it and realize you do. And now I watch Hellraiser all the time. It's a cool one, and I really like the Pinhead. This movie really paved the way to a really cool series of movies, so I highly recommend this one. I think I have this movie rated as a 3.5 on my Letterboxd. It's not the best movie in the world, but it's still a fun movie, and Pinhead is such an iconic character in horror today, and I think he will be for a very long time. And it's funny how they take that character, which wasn't even the focus of the movie, and it took over immediately just because it was such a cool character. So I highly recommend this movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. So I appreciate watching the video. This is Zomboy signing out, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.